I was just sharing as I hit the play and record, I am zapped. And yeah, it's interesting this month. And our theme, of course, is tapas. Just do what you can with the moment at hand, but stay true to you. And I will be honest and say that I was considering not hosting class this evening because I was just feeling, whew, do I have the energy to give? And I'm glad I didn't because, our yoga practice, the meditations, the postures, the breath, it's all a practice of tuning in and giving in. And as much as, of course, a yin practice or a teaching practice rather is an exercise in sharing this, yin is a beautiful practice where I don't have to say a lot. So thank you for letting me be here in my pajamas because that's how I'm feeling here this evening on a Tuesday. But I'm here. I've showed up. I'm here to do my best to offer you what I can by way of this practice and, of course, the supports that it provides. So for class, if you have a block or your bolster close by, just for a little extra support, we are going to get into pigeon pose, or I should say swan pose, as we use our yin language. And always a little bit of support, block, foamy, bolster, so on and so forth is typically a nice support for that. So yeah, thank you for letting me be here in what I feel is a somewhat depleted state, but yet that's the practice anyway, to show up as you are, to do what you can, and to hold space for what comes of your presence. So let's start our practice on our backs. So come on down. That said too, because we're going to start our practice reclined, and in a reclined butterfly, you might want to include that bolster or a set of blocks right out of the gate. Now, if you come down onto your back and reclined butterfly is out of the question, no big deal. Keep the soles of the feet on the floor and just let yourself land just in a comfortable position to be. Feel free to let your hands come to rest beside you or maybe even on your body. Close your eyes and join me with some breaths. Deep breath in through the nose. Full breath out through the mouth. Again, full breath in through the nose. Deep breath out through the mouth. One more time. Take a nice full deep breath in here. And a full exhale, letting yourself land on your mat to your practice in your body with yourself. And then as the breath continues to simply flow, ask yourself, how am I feeling today? How am I feeling right now? How am I feeling now that I've landed on my mat? And what do I need from this practice? Just let whatever answer come to your mind without thinking. It can be as complex or as simple as it comes. Just let it come to you. Let the answer flow to you as you land and notice the breath. And simply practice being in this moment. Give yourself permission to stay here just for a few more moments longer, letting the body settle, letting the breath smooth out, letting the mind quiet. And go ahead and take a nice full deep breath here. And again, maybe an open mouth, sighing exhale. And then slowly start to wiggle the fingers, maybe wiggle the toes. Let your hands start to move down beside the legs as the chin rolls gently from one side to the other, and you assist those legs. As you return your feet to the mat, the knees point towards the ceiling, maybe even the feet a bit wide on the mat, so that the knees now can fall towards one another. Hands can still rest on the belly here. And just breathe through the release of that first kind of opening posture and your landing to your mat. Again, a nice full breath in. And then your full breath out. And then simply with some movement, fingers and toes, again, let your chin roll from one side to the other side. Let those arms extend. Let the legs reach long. Take a nice full deep breath here, stretching, reaching, opening, yawning if that feels nice. And then from here, rebend those knees, draw the thighs in and onto the belly, and give yourself a little hug. Maybe even a gentle rock back and forth, side to side, as you use your mat as a little massage and release. Nice full deep breath in here. And then your full breath out. And then from here, let's go ahead and return the left foot to the floor while the right knee stays tucked in and onto the right side of the body. Just in a simple, half wind relieving pose here, compressing right side belly, right thigh. Practice keeping the shoulders soft, keep the back of the neck long, and just feel the breath move, belly into thigh, as the belly rises as you breathe in, and then that nice little receding. Again, full deep breath here. And your breath out. Now let's go ahead and take this into a supported half happy baby pose. So you may find you want to just simply keep the hands around the back of the leg as that right knee unfolds and the sole of the right foot opens to the ceiling, but let's keep the foot relaxed. And if this feels nice to just keep hugging right thigh in and onto the body without having to reach for the ankle or the foot, then do that. You can also use a strap if you have one and place it around the sole of the right foot and offer yourself the support there. Or just stay here with me, hugging around the back of that hamstring with one or both arms as you just let this be a passive half happy baby pose here on the right side. We're only going to stay here for about another 3 or 4 breaths, just working a minute here in these first couple of postures. Jaws soft. Breath is full. Stay for one more nice full breath here. And then let that breath fall out. And then slowly rebend the right knee, hug it again. Okay, knee down into, or rather heel down towards the seat as the hands can shift to the shin. And then maybe the left leg now straightens long. If you don't want to straighten the leg long, then by all means don't. But this will offer a bit of opening across the left side hip flexor. So completely up to you whether that's something you want to explore. Give yourself now another breath or two. Again, feeling that bit of pressure, the acupressure of right thigh on the right side abdomen. Last breath in. And your breath out. Now, if your left knee is bent, go ahead and straighten the left leg as we now find our way into a little twist. So take the right knee across the body, and as it comes across, let that knee perhaps rest, okay, on your block, on your bolster, whatever you might find and need, as the right arm, right shoulder remains kind of grounded on the right side of the mat. Feel free to use the left hand to just simply anchor the right knee down and across. And by all means, outstretch the right arm off to the side and turn your gaze to the right also if that feels good for you. Let yourself breathe. As you feel this bit of compression across this right side abdomen, and of course the release that's happening across the hip, the glute, and into the rotation through the spine. So much of this practice this evening is about this, stimulation of the midsection. Okay, and that's really where our inner fire is. If we think of the chakra system, that third chakra from the bottom is Manipura chakra. And it's the seat of our personal power, our flame. It's also, of course, our digestion here in the abdomen. So when we compress, we're gently massaging, we're stirring, we're kindling, we're sending some sparks as we press and breathe and kind of fan the flame, if you will. And we do so cautiously so that things don't get too hot and too spicy, but they just keep us feeling not just warm, but safe. And so we've got about another minute here just to linger in this twist. Finding any variation of twist if this one feels like it's too far out of reach. And you'll know it's too far out of reach because the breath will hitch. The breath will shorten. The breath will feel strained. Instead, find a position, find a posture that promotes the fullness of your breath. All right, stay for one more breath here. And your breath out. All right, go ahead and take your time and slowly release this twist. Right foot coming back to the floor behind the left thigh. Adjust as you need to as you return the left knee bent also, and the feet both planted on the mat. Nice full deep breath here. And your breath out. All right, let's shift to the second side. Right foot is going to stay. Left thigh now simply draws in and onto the left side of the abdomen. And of course, you can take the knee wide if you prefer to go a little bit wide versus too much compression on the belly. Totally up to you. And you can hug in as much as you want, or just keep, a gentle touch of belly on thigh. You don't have to go intense. There's so much that's happening behind the surface of the pose that we have to hold space for, that we have to consider. Beyond the musculature, beyond the joints, there's blood flow, there's nervous tissue, there's lymph. Not to mention, of course, the digestive system. And so all these postures can be deep. Sometimes less is more. So let yourself explore that if that's where you need to be tonight. Again, you can just simply linger here, staying with this, or if you want to explore the half happy baby variation with me, start to unfold the leg, just easing open the hamstring. And again, hugging around the back of that hamstring versus reaching for the foot. And by all means, if you want to reach for the foot and that feels comfortable for the head, neck, shoulders, and not too much for this hamstring, then go ahead and let that happen. Or you can just stay basic, hugging the arms around that hamstring as that left thigh continues its bit of pressure practice onto the belly. Breathe deep. Breathe slowly. There's no rush. There's no race. You're here. Good. Stay for just 2 more breaths here. And then slowly release those arms, rebending through the left knee, hugging that heel once again down towards that left side seat. And then as we just stay here for a few more breaths, feel free to extend and reach that right leg now long on the mat. As we follow the breath and that rise and recede, a soft palpitation as the belly presses to thigh and the thigh presses back. Stay for one more breath here. And your breath out. And then if that right leg is still bent, then go ahead and straighten it. Adjust your blocks, bolster, bringing them on over to the right side as we now prepare for a twist. So as you're ready, the left knee can come across the body and eventually find that landing place of your block, ready and waiting. The left shoulder, see if you can encourage it to stay down, to stay grounded. And sometimes that means kind of untwisting a little bit, which, you have the options to work with your block at multiple heights. So adjust, let it be there to support you so that you feel steady in the pose without, of course, forcing it to happen. Right hand can gently anchor that left knee down. It doesn't have to, though. And the left hand can remain tucked as mine is, or of course it can straighten its way off to the side too. Turn your gaze if that feels nice. And then just let yourself breathe. Sometimes our twisting postures can feel really compressive, and they're meant to. especially across the abdomen. We're creating this bit of wringing out, if you will. But we still have lots of room in the upper lungs and through the back. Remember, your breath is multi-directional. We're not just talking belly out, belly back. We're talking ribs and the entire circumference, like a sphere. Okay, reaching out, front, back, side, left and right, as well as up and down. And we're going to linger here for about another minute and a half. Follow the breath. And watch that kind of magic element of time transform the shape of the pose, right? As you linger in the pose, let it kind of melt into your body. Let your body melt around the pose so that you end up sinking more deeply into the posture through the process of relaxation versus effort. Let's linger here for 4 more breaths. And at the end of that smooth, emptying exhale, slowly let yourself release and gently wind your way back to the center, shifting and adjusting as you need to so that you land back in the middle of your mat. Full deep breath in and a full breath out. And let's go ahead and just lift gently off the sacrum. Press down through those feet. Inhale, lift the seat, and not so high, just enough so that you release the pressure off the low back. Maybe even offer a little bit of a sway, a little bit of a wiggle, maybe even a small circle or up and over arching to release. One more breath in here. And then exhale, descend, let the spine and the seat land back to your mat. Drop your knees over to your preferred side. And then let's slowly rise. Bring yourself up onto your seat. And then spin your way around into a simple tabletop position. And then as you come into a tabletop position, let's just add a little bit more movement for the spine and the release from lying on our back. So belly down, collarbones broad, little cow pose on the in-breath. Exhale, round it out. By far, one of the most beneficial and simple movements to explore. Belly down, collarbones broad, cow pose. Exhale, rounding it out. One more. Inhale, belly down, collarbones broad. Exhale, round this out. Nice full deep breath here. And then exhale your way to neutral. And then as you're ready, we're going to come right into our swan, aka pigeon pose. So let's take that right leg forward and through. Now, you can always come onto your back and mimic this first couple of postures that we did. If face down swan pose, pigeon pose is not conducive to your hips, your knees, your back, bring out the props, your block, your pillow, your half foam. And let's start this exploration in the upward facing swan so that we're giving a little bit more to the hip flexor on this front side. And then again, just a little bit of counter activity for the spine. The face, the jaw remain soft. You can, of course, elevate up here on your blocks. You can be on your bolster underneath your hands. You can just tent your fingers like I've done. Let the shoulders stay soft and heavy. And let every exhale help you settle into the pose again with just a comfortable sinking in, not forcing to get too deep. Just almost like you're steeping yourself, steeping like a tea bag in a warm cup of tea. The breath is easy because the pose just feels just right. It's like that Goldilocks expression. Let it be just right. Go ahead and take another nice full deep breath here. And that full breath out. And then by all means, feel free to stay elevated or start to walk those hands forward as you ease yourself down, perhaps onto the elbows. Again, maybe you're propped here on your bolster, folded blanket, blocks, whatever works for you. You might find you want to stack the fists and find a little place to land your head, your forehead. Or you may find you can melt yourself right down to the mat. So long as that doesn't, create too much intensity, especially with the element of time coming into play here. And let your breath flow smoothly. Again, noticing if the posture is, making for compromised or uncomfortable experiences. That's your job, to really be engaged in your practice so that it's presents the right challenge. It helps to support the release, not by force, but by allowing. Now, again, by all means, this may very well be enough for you to stay and play with. If you'd like to add one more little piece here, maybe that back knee finds its way into a bent shape. Now, if you bend the knee and it feels like it's too much, too forced, then please just let it return back down onto the mat. But if given the element of time, there's that settling, sinking, releasing happening, and it feels right to play in this shape, then by all means, let yourself be playful. Let's allow ourselves just 3 more breaths here. And then, as you're ready, slowly let that back leg come back down to the mat if it was elevated. And then take your time and slide back up onto those hands, easing yourself up off the floor. And then walking the back toes forward to support that front leg unfolding behind you. Slowly let it stretch and reach back, coming into a little modified down dog / table as the toes tuck under on that right side leg. We straighten through the knee and, of course, just release the intensity off the shin. Nice full deep breath. Exhale, return the knee to the floor. And then as you're ready, tuck your toes under, belly down, cow pose in breath. And then maybe a brief downward facing dog, just to come off the knees, to release the pose, to stretch through the underarm, open that back body. Full deep breath here. Full breath out. One more inhale. And your exhale. Let's go ahead and come back through to that tabletop position. And then we'll ready ourselves for our swan on the second side. So adjusting your props if you know you're going to need them. And then now it's the left leg shin that moves forward. We slide that knee up in behind the left ankle, cross that left foot underneath the right hip flexor. Position any supports underneath the left side knee. And then as the legs settle and land, we stay elevated. Settle and soften the shoulders down on the back. Keep the face slightly lifted. Let the belly soften so that every breath that flows in has room to move. And then every breath that flows out helps you settle. Again, as you stay elevated here, feel free to just live on the hands. Maybe lift the floor by placing blocks or your half foam or bolster underneath your hands, or maybe just lift yourself up onto your fingertips. As you come up onto those finger pads, for sure, there's a bit of effort in the hands. But let everywhere else be soft. Your arms are straight, and so those strong arm bones are holding your torso up. But the glutes, the back, the belly, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the tongue, the eyebrows, everything remains passive. Stay here for 3 more breaths. And as that last exhale happens, feel free to start settling yourself forward and down as the hands come forward. Elbows might land, right? And maybe you don't fold forward much. Maybe there's just a little bit of movement, or maybe you prefer to stay elevated. That's completely okay too. If you are coming forward and down, again, opt to support yourself. However, stacking fists, using props, settling gently and sinking. Breath is flowing. Jaw is soft. Body is melting into the shape. And again, if you want to just stay here, by all means do. Or if you'd like to add that last little element as that back knee lifts, or rather the back foot lifts and the knee bends, then by all means explore this variation. Again, enjoy just a couple more breaths here. One last nice full deep breath in. As you exhale, let that back foot come back down to the mat. Let your next inhalation invite those hands to come back underneath you as you lift and rise gently up. Tuck the back toes, walk that back knee forward once or twice to help then create the space and stability needed as you unfold the left leg. Again, reaching it slowly back, unfolding the knee, toes tucked, a little rock maybe back and forth, side to side, or front and back. Again, bring the knee back down to the floor, ground the hands, tuck the toes, breathe in. And then exhale, downward facing option again. Maybe child's pose feels better for you. And if that's the case, then go ahead. You're welcome to let downward dog be static, nice and steady. Or if you want to move and free yourself, then let that happen too. Nice full deep breath in. And a full deep breath out. One more here. Nice full deep breath in. And your full breath out. And then come back through to that tabletop as you inhale. And then let's find our way down to our seat. So as you come to sit, feel free again to elevate to prop, block, bolster, half foam, folded blanket, hoodie, couch cushion, dog toy, all of the above works just perfectly well. And we come now to just a comfortable, simple seated posture, which will take us right into Shavasana. So make sure you have what you need and what you might like to support you for your resting place. So let's practice a little pranayama, just a simple, basic alternate nostril breathing to support the energy, balance out the lefts and rights of the body and the hemispheres of the brain. So your left hand will find Chin Mudra, index finger and thumb together, resting on the left knee. Right hand will fold into Vishnu Mudra with thumb, ring, and pinky staying extended. Hold that right hand in front of the face. Sit the body and the spine nice and tall. Take a full deep breath in through both nostrils. A full deep breath out through both nostrils. Again, a nice full deep breath in both nostrils. Plug the right nostril with your thumb and exhale through the left. Then inhale through the left. Plug the left and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Plug the right. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Plug the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Plug the right. Exhale through the left. Couple more rounds. Inhale left. Plug left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Plug right. Exhale left. One more inhale left. Plug left. Exhale right. And inhale right. Plug right. Exhale left. Now release that right hand. Let it come to land on your leg and lap as the left hand is positioned in Chin Mudra. And just allow yourself to breathe freely and easily here as both nostrils now open and receptive, working cohesively with every breath in and every breath out. Again, every breath in and breath out. Cohesive, easy, simple feel. Supporting a calm, balanced body and mind. Smooth flow of energy. And overall ease. And perhaps asking yourself again, what do you need from this practice? How are you feeling? Has anything changed? Have you been open to receive? Have you been willing to listen so that you might provide, you might give? Let yourself sit for just a few more moments, dropping into this moment, into yourself, into your body, into your heart. If and when you feel ready to settle for final relaxation post Shavasana, by all means, let yourself land. You're certainly welcome to stay here in a seated posture with me in meditation. Just let yourself do whatever you need to do so that you might close your practice in the way that supports you the best. Once you've committed to either remaining seated or to the reclined posture of corpse pose, Shavasana, then do just that. Commit to that for these last few moments of our collective practice today. Committing to this pose, committing to this moment is very much this disciplined act. And the mind is going to want to sway you. There's going to be an itch. There's going to be a sound. And the choice is yours whether you respond or just simply stay in a watchful state, unresponsive, unreactive. As always, let yourself stay here for as long as it feels right for you. Taking this time to rest, to exhale, to pause, to breathe. Stay as long as you need and close your practice when you're ready. As always, it is a true gift to be able to share in these wisdoms and teachings of the ages. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste.